Tonight, Ruth Maddock, Paul Shane, Sue Pollard and Jeffrey Holland in a Heidi High reunion. Live at 5 on 4, it's Paul O'Grady.
Thank you. Right, you ready? Heidi High. Oh, Paul, can't hear you. Heidi High. Lovely. Welcome to the show. And as you can see, tonight we're having a Heidi High special. Where do you go when you've just sat down? We've got buckets of spaghetti backstage. All will be revealed later on in the show. And he's wiring in, aren't you, like you've never eaten before? Don't show the audience your bum. You've got a beautiful face. Look at his face covered in tomato sauce. Can you see? Talk about make a show of me on the telly. There you go. Time to do me announcements, yes. Well, we've got to... I'm nearly wetting myself here with excitement. In fact, a little bit, seriously. I've got white pants on, which is unfortunate. You can't hide it, can you? Oh, I thought the Tenko special had got me going. This is all I need now is an Avengers special. I'll die happy, I can tell you. Tonight, we have... I'm going to announce the show first. So tonight, we've also got a very special reunion with the stars of the BAFTA award-winning sitcom Heidi High. Oh, wait. Hello, campers. What a fun-packed programme we've got for you tonight. Joining me in the Hawaiian ballroom are Peggy, Ted, Spike and Gladys. Yes, we've got a Madeline's favourite, a stuffing spaghetti.
Will you just leave it to the professionals? Out of the way, Pauletta.
Sorry, Gladys. Sorry.
Take your arms out your pocket.
Sorry, Gladys.
Right, now then. Thank you. Hello, campers. Heidi High!
Howdy ho!
Join us tonight in the Hawaiian ballroom for the Holiday Princess competition, Knobbly Knees competition, and a special game raising money for children in need with Spike, Peggy and me, and we'll be stuffing spaghetti down everyone's trousers. Plus, we've got a kids' fancy dress competition, bingo competition, and lots more. Oh, and don't forget, you'll be dancing to Bert Swanley and the Debonaires. Heidi High!
Howdy ho! Thank you, Gladys. Thank you, Miss Q.
Pauletta?
Yes?
I am not leaving this for anybody.
Yes,
I'll
Miss
see you
Q.
later.
OK, Gladys. Thank you, Gladys. Our chief yellow coat there, campers. Up next, we have the cast of Heidi High. So don't go anywhere. See you after the break. Heidi High! Oh, fabulous. And I'm dressed in this beautiful yellow coat and white shirt because today's a Heidi High special. Ho-de ho. Whenever Heidi High said, you say ho-de ho back. Do you hear me? I'll be hit with a wet flip-flop until your legs sting. But it's time now for my first guests, and how excited am I? They are the stars of one of our most popular sitcoms ever, each week on Heidi High. Nearly 20 million people followed the lives and loves of the staff at Maplin's holiday camp. The show won a BAFTA for Best Comedy Series, and we took Gladys, Ted, Peggy and Spike into our hearts. And here's how it all began. Put the tape in, Bert, please. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, will you please welcome the stars of Heidi High, Spike, Mr. Geoffrey Holland, Ted, Mr. Paul Shane, Gladys, Ruth Maddock, and of course, Peggy, the one and only Sue Pollard! Come here, you! Hey, come here! Oh, I'm all the better for seeing you. Come here! How are you, Flower? Get yourself sat down. Come on, let's hear you! I tell you, I'm nearly wetting myself here. Seriously, I'm so excited.
So are we. So are we.
You look handsome.
Oh,
you look
get out of this.
You do. You look fabulous. You could have actually been in it at the start.
Do you know what? If it ever comes back, I'm first up to audition.
Yeah.
Tell you what, you're the
Definitely.
double of Terence Creasy.
Yes.
Yes, you
He
are.
was one of the first yellow coats.
Yes,
Really?
yes.
Oh, good-looking lad.
Yeah.
Just like you.
Please, well, please. Bring it back. Look, how long is it since you've all been together?
Well, quite a long time
We
now,
went to
isn't it?
that one about 7 years ago, didn't we? 20 years? 20 years, was it?
Yes, it must have been.
Yeah.
Since we sat at the edge of the bed, the three of us.
Yeah.
The three of us, yeah. No,
With the giraffe line.
Borrowing money off Paul, because
Yeah.
he was the only one that had money between them.
Well, I was a club act. Well,
So
I
we
thought
always
I
had
was.
wads of notes, you know.
Yeah.
Do you still get... do people still say to it, when's he coming back? When's the show coming back?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Always. And you know what you normally get, Paul? I don't know about the other guys, but they say, there's nothing that gives you the belly laughs the same as it did when you rock backwards and forwards and you can sit with your granny. Everybody going, oh, this is fun. So I suppose that's a fair comment,
Yeah.
I guess.
We are
Without
grannies
Sue.
now. We're all grannies now.
Yeah.
Why? I mean,
speak for
I was
yourself.
obsessed with her. I loved Heidi High. I just loved it.
Yeah.
I loved the writing, and it was often very poignant. I remember there was a lovely scene between Peggy and Gladys where
That's right.
Yeah.
Peggy been turned over by some awful fella who come down
Yeah.
from Maplins,
Yeah,
and
the
she went to
pathos,
Gladys
yeah.
for advice in the Hawaiian ballroom.
Yes.
And it was so sad, and
Yeah.
the episode ended on that.
Yeah.
And
That's right.
So it was a mixture for me of light and shade. It was
I don't
lovely.
think the writers were frightened
No.
to mix the laughter
With
with
the
pathos,
pathos.
because it's so near.
Yeah.
Laughter is so near to tears, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I don't think they were frightened at all,
No,
were they?
no.
To do it? And we were lucky, we benefited from
Well,
that.
we were really lucky because they could identify, both Jimmy and David, with the real fun that you can get from the so-called class divide, which there still is, isn't there?
Yeah.
Against the posh one and the ones that says, hey, hope you're doing all right. And he's going, oh, my goodness. So you know what I mean? Because that's real. So
That was you and Simon Cadell.
Oh, yeah.
We was once in a restaurant and she was on full-blown, weren't you? 2 bottles of wine, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Lock up your sons.
Oh, I've seen it.
And he said to her, Sue, would you mind lowering your voice to a scream?
Paul, do you know what I remember? Many, many years ago, I worked in a nightclub in Bournemouth called Steps.
Yeah.
And you were working a club round... Do you remember Steps? So
Yes.
you were working a club round the corner.
Yeah.
And we were talking about your days as a stand-up comic.
Oh, aye.
I mean, you worked for years as a club comic, didn't you?
1957, I was in 11 years before they knew my second name. Was it fun? That?
It was funny, yes.
Anyway, me and my wife were going to Bradford to a club and they used to write your name on chalk outside, yeah?
Yeah.
And we were going in and I said, stop. She said, why? I said, I've arrived. She said, how do you know? I said, my name's in coloured chalk. It was in blue.
Oh, yeah, big time, then.
Oh, what?
And you met Sue, didn't you, on The Comedians, the programme? The
Yeah.
Comedians.
I did a bomb and she died on her backside.
Oh, did she? Oh, you didn't, did
no,
you?
I was actually I was sort of feeling, wasn't quite my backside, it might have been my, what do you call it, your toxic.
Your knee.
And I said,
You're toxic.
oh, I thought it was toxic. Oh, you know what I mean, that's what I mean. Anyway, and I said, oh, dear, I don't think I'm cut out for this. He said, no, just keep going, girl, you'll be all right one day. It was almost like saying, you know, keep going for the yellow coat. And then, lo and behold, about 3 years later, there we
the
were.
following year.
Was it the following year?
1979, IDI, yeah.
Really?
I
And
need
that
a
was
transcript.
78, that.
Blimey, you can't believe it, can
It was,
you?
yeah.
I remember seeing
78.
Sue in what was fondly billed as the musical The Dessert Song.
Oh, do you remember?
It was down in Cardiff. Cardiff, Sue. And you were at the New in Cardiff.
It was the Printers.
Yeah, no, well, you know, the dessert song
Yeah.
you're in, lovely girl.
John Hanson went, just look at this. And the biggest showbiz icon there is this year, the dessert song. He says, I think they've come to see a rice pudding or something. It's really funny.
I remember seeing you, though, in a one-woman show at the Domino Warehouse. You were brilliant.
Oh, yeah, I really enjoyed that,
Yeah,
actually.
yeah.
I think it's nice. I suppose, probably, if we were all to sort of be really do what we're able to do and want to do, it would be great if you could just do a bit of telly,
Yeah.
bit of sort of pathos, bit of dancing, musicals like we all do. I think it would be great to have a mix and match.
Yeah, yeah. Now,
Career.
Geoffrey, the Rices immediately clicked, didn't they, and saw the relationship between you?
Yes, they did. When I arrived to meet Paul for the first time, we went in a room together and we looked at each other, and something went like that.
Yeah.
And he actually said to me, "Have we met before?"
Yeah.
And I said, "No, we haven't. We've never met before." And we read a scene of Spike and Ted, and it was just their chemistry was just so right between us.
First rule of comedy, Spike. That was always us. First rule of comedy.
A lot of people read for Ted before me, you know.
Oh, really?
Everybody was cast. About 2 years it was. There was Harry Seacombe. There was
Did he?
Frank Windsor. What's a Scottish
Hilton,
comic, bless
Ronnie
him?
Hilton.
Ronnie Hilton.
Yeah.
And the Scottish comic that died a couple of years ago, lovely.
Logan.
Jimmy
Jimmy
Logan.
Logan,
yeah.
yes.
Oh, and a lot more. And I got the part. It was great.
really
But you were
scraping the barrel
perfect
in the
for
middle.
him.
Well, I didn't
Perfect.
know at the time. 'Cause
Yeah.
David said to me, are you prepared to stop with this? I didn't know what he was talking about.
Did you think it'd run for so long? Because how long did it run
we'd
for?
all got a feeling. It was 9 years with the pilot. But we'd all got a feeling that it would be reasonably popular.
Yeah.
We didn't expect what happened. It was back on telly prime time 6 weeks after it went off.
Yeah.
Because of that scene, you know the horse on top of the horse?
Yeah. Oh, yes. Oh,
hilarious.
Because of
It's
that,
wonderful,
by
actually.
public demand, which is great, you know, isn't it,
know.
on BBC, great. Well, we had a fabulous time.
Oh, you can see that, though. It
Oh,
just...
yeah.
It was something that you say and you think, I want to be in this.
Yeah.
And I remember going to the job centre, because I wasn't working at the time, and said,
Yeah.
I'd like to be in a holiday camp.
Yeah.
And I could see them looking at me. I was maniac. I said, I want to be a yellow coat. They said, it doesn't exist, Maplins. You can go and be a cleaner in Butlins, and that's your... I love Gladys, because Gladys she was the vamp of the valley. She was permanently smouldering, wasn't she?
Oh, yes.
And her biological clock was ticking,
Oh,
ticking
undoubtedly.
away. Yeah.
And, I mean, I was getting on for about 40, actually, in reality. And dear old Gladys, on a good day, she professed to be 28. You know, and I can always... Sue, this is the truth, though, isn't it, lovely
Yes,
girl?
it is.
I used to have to get into the shorts. Well, when we started it, I was in ordinary tights. By the time we finished, 8 years later, I was in support tights for the men. Because that was the only way I could cope, as they say.
I've got news for you, so was I.
You didn't tell me. That's where my tights went.
Well, Ruth, look, we've got a clip of you here now with the object of Gladys's desire, Geoffrey Fair.
Oh, bless him.
Bert, if you would, please. Do you know, there's nothing to touch it today. There really isn't, seriously.
No.
There's no to touch.
No.
I mean, we used to watch it and go to the pub and discuss it in great detail.
Yeah.
We were so fond of the characters, but
Yeah.
then that's down to you as actors for making them so realistic.
But I think you're right there, though, Paul, because the thing is, I think if you've got... It's all about the most fantastic writing for every single person.
Yeah.
So, therefore, if you can
They were
be
the
as...
best, yeah.
If you can be as well-rounded as a character and try and find as much as you can in your individual characters, then people get to know you.
All the characters were based on people that they'd worked. Jimmy and
Yeah.
David who
Oh,
wrote
really?
it. They
Yeah.
both worked in the holiday camps.
Yeah.
Even the old man that hated the kids.
Yeah.
Jimmy Perry.
Yeah.
Jimmy Perry worked with him.
Oh, really?
Everybody.
Oh, I loved him.
Sue,
Yeah.
Gladys,
Yeah.
they worked with Jimmy. Worked with them all, and that's how they got the characters.
So Jimmy was the red coat, wasn't he?
He was the chief red
He
coat.
was chief red coat, Jimmy.
Oh, was he?
Yeah, yeah. So a lot of it was taken from real life and the experiences that he
Yes.
had had.
Yeah.
But I must tell you that when I went for my interview for Gladys, I went to their flat, the flat. In very posh,
Jimmy's,
in Westminster, wasn't
Yes.
it? And I'd known Jimmy Perry a long, long time when he was actor manager at Watford Rep. And Gladys, the sort of character, used to come out at 4 in the morning on a technical when we were sort of dying to get home, but nothing was going right, the lights weren't going right and all the rest of it. So out used to come this camp character, this Welsh character with me. And when I actually went for the interview, David Croft was quite laid back. And I was putting on the very thick accent like that, see? You know, like a van from the valleys. And he said to me, he went, oh, that's very good. Yes, he said, yes, you've got the part. We sort of thought you might like to do it. But do you always talk like that?
But do people think you talk like that?
No, I don't.
So, one of your favourite scenes was Gladys on the washing machine. I remember that bit.
Oh, yeah. It's so funny. I mean, the poor cow, she got some terrible situations in the I mean, she had terrible things to work with, that naff old trolley, and the flipping horn kept conking out. And it actually did. The black bit used to come off on a regular basis. Right, action, and then the horn wouldn't work. So that was in real life. So they said, right, we want you on a washing machine. So there, oh dear. And I forget, it was one of those things, obviously, especially doctored. But, of course, Gladys comes in and says, I think you're needed now to help with the whatever it was, you know, and I was going, and I remember this washing machine. And I said, you can see the equipment I've got to work with, can't you, Gladys? Because it was that, like, I had no voice tape for 20 seconds. And it spun all the way around, and it just made me laugh because it's visually funny.
You know, talking about no voices, we used to go into the Hawaiian ballroom, and we used to do these scenes, didn't we? Yeah. And we had that terrible, what they called atmosphere. It's called, you see, where they shove all this smoke around.
No,
but it's oil-based.
Yeah.
And it's dreadful stuff, and it does half get on your throat and on your chest. And he used to be singing away, and I used to have to be doing some naff singing as well. And we'd come out after 2 days, I'd be going, oh! And he'd be going, oh, bloody hell, my throat, my chest, so bad. Bloody hell, my chest. Gladys, what is it? I'd go, well, I think it's the oil.
It's all changed now, though. It's not like
so
that.
We can't, you know, health and safety, you know, you can't use that stuff. But in those days, we were used
It's cyanide-based now.
So, did people used to write in offering Peggy support? Because she was the underdog, wasn't she?
I'd been threatened.
Everybody.
You're joking?
Yeah, because you know, Ted had a lot of scenes with Peggy and he was always using her. Well, he used everybody, didn't he?
Yeah.
And I've had blokes said to me in the pub, hey, leave Peggy alone, you. I said, hey, she's my best friend, mate. I'm not telling you. You'll get one of them if you don't. Did you know?
They were lovely, and one lady wrote to me and she said, I've been following your unfortunate progress, and one day he is going to be absolutely marvellous. Stick in there, she said, I've already got some dog poo ready to put in Gladys's chalet. She was that cruelty girl.
I used to get... They actually thought that I was Gladys. You know, that I lived in a little chalet on the East Coast. I didn't realise I had a grandmother at home to look after, my mother and father to look after, my 2 kids to look after. None of that even occurred to anybody.
Jeff, stop talking.
And I used to think, oh, for goodness sake.
Well, I've got a lesson here for you, Sue, and it's off one of the extras, or supporting artists, and her name was Evelyn Brooks. That was her stage name, but her real name is Mrs. E. Haddock. So you couldn't write it. And there's a picture of you and us together all those years ago. And while you're looking at that, we've got a clip here now of the moment when Peggy Ollerenshaw finally made it and got a yellow coat. Let's have a look at this. And the nation cheers when that happens. Cheers. Me dad did. Me dad roared when Peggy got a yellow coat. Seriously.
My hips have never been the same. It took me weeks to perfect those wheels.
But Jeffrey, the show, I mean, it was an instant hit. The first episode, it was a huge hit,
It was incredible because after episode 3 was going out, I was shopping in town with my wife. We were just wandering around the shops. I heard somebody shout, Heidi Hi, across the street. And I thought, oh, my God, I've been recognised. What am I going to do now? Because I wasn't used to it, you see, at all. And I looked round to see this Chaplin, it was a young fella, and he wasn't calling to me at all. He was calling to his mate across the street.
Oh, really?
Heidi Hi, Hody Ho in 3 weeks. It was, you know, the nation's favourite.
Where was the camp where it was shot?
It was in Dovercourt, near Harwich.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and there's houses on it now. It's rather
it's gone.
sad. 'cause
It's
I
gone,
was,
sadly.
I was
But
down there.
It was a real dump. It was a real dump.
it
was it?
BBC used to go in and dress it up because
Yeah.
it looked like an open prison.
20 years ago this year was the actual hurricane, and we were done. That was our very last shooting days down there, and it was so sad, really, because it was the only time that we actually took the grace days.
The Saturday.
The Saturday. We always finished all the filming early because we were quite good. We used to do things in one take in the end. It was great. And this particular week, when the hurricane came, it was dreadful, and a lot of people, you know, nearly lost their lives.
There was one of the crew
camp.
who was staying in one of the chalets, and he got up in the middle of the night to go to the toilet because there were no en suites in those chalets. Down the end of the line. At the end. He went to the toilet. When he came back, there was a tree through his chalet.
Right through his...
Straight through it, like a
chalet,
matchbox.
onto his bed.
So somebody was looking after him that night.
Well, listen, you guys, I could sit here and talk to you all night, really.
Well, we'll come back sometime.
Oh, please do. I tell you what, really. I just want to say to you, while I've got you here, thank you, really, thank you, because I came to see the musical 4 times. I went to a club with 2 afterwards, wasn't I? Sat in the front, me and my mate David Dale screaming, Heidi, hi. I mean, it was just, it captured my imagination.
Yeah, sure.
I loved it. I absolutely loved it.
It was good, honest, clean fun,
It was
wasn't
a hoot.
Yeah.
It was the best. It really was.
Lily Savage was a fan,
Oh,
wasn't
she was a big fan, Lily.
I saw,
oh, yeah.
I saw her with Richard and Judy.
He's giving it the full... I will. I'm too involved. What can I do? I'm a fan. Ladies and gentlemen, please, let's hear it for the cast of Heidi Hi. Mr. Paul Chain, Miss Ruth Maddock, Mr. Geoffrey Holland, and Miss Sue Pollard. Heidi Hi. Oh, next, we're going to stuff spaghetti down people's trousers in a classic Maplin's holiday game, so don't go anywhere. See you after the break. Heidi Hi. Thank you. Welcome back. Now, in a moment, we will be in the Hawaiian ballroom playing the classic Heidi Hi game of stuffing spaghetti down the trousers. But first is a classic clip from the very, very last episode of Heidi Hi. Gonna try. Right. Time now to gather around the Olympic-sized swimming pool, which for some unknown reason has been moved into Hawaiian ballroom, but I'm not going to ask. As it's the moment you've all been waiting for, it's the stuffing spaghetti down the trousers competition. That's right, it's the Geoffrey. Yeah. And we're doing this because we're raising money for children in need. Now, Ruth will be stuffing Nick's trousers, Sue will be stuffing John's, and I'll be stuffing Andy's, and Geoffrey, you're going to be stuffing Osie's here. And the team that manages to stuff the most spaghetti down the trousers before the klaxon sounds will be crowned Maplin's Spaghetti Stuffing Champions. And the winners' buckets are worth £100 for charity. Right, time now to hand over to our event compere, the one and only, the camp comic himself, Mr. Ted Bovis. Thank you.
Hello, campers. Heidi Hi. Hi. Ted can't hear you. Heidi Hi. Yes, there's 20 years left in that yet. Fabulous, isn't it? No, are we ready, teams?
We are.
Yes. OK. This is the stuffing the trousers down your trousers competition.
Stuffing the spaghetti.
I think I got that the right way around. Anyway, are you ready?
Yeah.
Ready, steady, go!
Pull him right out.
Go, boss! Go, boss! Go!
Go on, you ready?
Go on, do it! Do it!
Don't come out. Nick, how many buckets did you do?
We did all 4 of them.
Yeah! Two. How many buckets? 4 buckets.
Yes, 4 buckets.
What you see, you never forget.
You never
forget.
You did the 4 buckets.
Yes.
And guess what, folks? We've done 4 buckets as well. So, Paul, who do you reckon the winners are? I think we're all winners, aren't
Well,
we?
you're all winners, really, but...
Who did it first?
Ruth.
Yeah!
Ruth did, yeah.
Well, we've been on the phone to Joe Macklin,
it's done, isn't
and
it?
all the buckets count, so that means
Oh, thank you so much.
that's £1,200 for children in need for charity. And our winners have been crowned by the lovely Leona. Congrats. How does it feel?
Not good.
Is it a strange sensation having pants full of spaghetti? I mean, there's clubs in the West End where they do that kind of thing, isn't it? Oh, see, how do you feel? You look like you've had a terrible, nasty accident.
Johnny looks like his intestines have come away.
Did you have the edge to retch while you were doing that? I'll tell you something, Leona. I love your shoes.
So do I.
They're fabulous. Well, that's it for tonight. A huge thank you to my guests, to Ruth Maddock, let's hear, to Paul Shane, to Sue Pollard, to Jeffrey Holland, and to Leona Lewis. And let's not forget the twins, come on. That's all at 5 on 4, so I'll see you then. Enjoy your tea and have a lovely night. Ta-ra, see ya.